Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Brooke Kolesiak here from Legacy Physical Therapy. Hope everyone is doing well. Today, we are going to talk about some good tips to avoid low back pain during the holiday season, because this is a common complaint that we hear from lots of our clients, that with all of the hustle and bustle of the holidays and new activities and present wrapping and lifting and cooking and cookie baking, all of these activities that we maybe don't do as often throughout the year but do a lot of right now, is that people start to feel some increased low back pain. So today's tips are all about how to kind of negate that back pain and help you get through the holiday season feeling good. So one of the main things that we see causing some problems for people is that during this time of year, you're maybe doing a lot more lifting and twisting than you were previously. So like I said before, you are buying and wrapping packages, you are unloading more groceries from the car to make a big holiday feast. And all of this extra lifting can put a strain on your back if you're not doing it correctly. So I want to give you a few tips on how to potentially protect your back when you're lifting so that you don't end up in pain. So the first one is to squat and bend your hips and your knees instead of bending forward from your back when you go to bend and pick up something that's on a lower surface, like off the ground or that, okay? We are designed to move in our hips and our knees more so when we're picking up, and not doing all of it from tipping forward in our back and coming back up. So lift with your legs is my first tip. Another tip for lifting is to think about trying to keep good posture with it. And what I mean by that is trying to keep your spine neutral. We're not going for too far into a rounded flexed position. We're not extending really far, kind of keep it neutral, and thinking about pulling our tummy muscles in a little bit. And you should be able to breathe while you're in that posture. You're not holding your breath or tensing up too much when you're trying to lift, okay? And the third tip for lifting is to think about keeping things close to you. So you want to make sure when you're lifting something, especially if it's heavier, try and bring it as close to your body as possible when you're lifting, not way out in front of you or away from you. That's going to make you have to use your back a lot more than you would if you got it really close to you. So those are the 3 lifting tips. And just as a quick recap, bend with your hips and knees, lift with your legs. Think about having good posture when you're lifting and that nice neutral spine. Make sure that you're not holding your breath. And then the last one is make sure whatever you're lifting is close to you. Okay, so those are some tips for lifting, because that is something that we tend to do a lot more of during the holiday season. My other 2 tips here are kind of related to just general throughout this time. Like I said at the beginning, you're doing lots of different activities that you're maybe not used to doing. Maybe you're cooking a really big meal for your family, or you're baking cookies and that. And so you want to remember that, static postures for long periods of time can get really straining on our back. So if you're standing at the kitchen counter, kind of bending forward and looking down and cutting up vegetables for a meal, or maybe you're decorating cookies, that can start to be really challenging on your back if it's not used to it. So you want to make sure that you have options to change positions. So what I mean by that is maybe you spend some time standing at the kitchen counter doing it, and then you move the cookie tray over to a table where you can sit down. Or oftentimes I recommend that people open up the bottom cabinet in their kitchen and put a foot up into that cabinet so that they can stand with one leg bent and one leg straight. So just being able to change your posture throughout the day is a good thing versus staying in one posture for a really long time. That can be really straining on your back. My last tip that I have for people is just to be aware of your limitations and what your body is feeling. So you may need to plan ahead and play smart. And what I mean by that is just knowing that, if you've got to get a bunch of Christmas shopping done that day, and that's not something that you usually do, going in and out of lots of stores in one day, that may be what your activity is for that day. Don't also plan on, making the cookies that day and cleaning the house that day. You've got to plan accordingly for what your body can do. Okay, so even as simple as, I really got to get in and get all these groceries put away, so I'm going to load all of them up onto my arms at the same time. Instead, maybe we do take 1 or 2 bags in at a time and we go back and forth. So planning ahead so that you are in a good place with what your body can tolerate is a good thing. And remember, don't be afraid to ask for help, and that this is a time where everyone's coming together, so it doesn't have to be all on you. So asking people to help and assist so that you can take breaks as need be if you are dealing with back pain issues is a really good thing. So just make sure that you're kind of taking some time for you and checking in, and that you may have to plan ahead with your activities. So hopefully you found these tips helpful, and they can continue to help you avoid back pain during this holiday season. And if you are dealing with issues and want to talk to a therapist about it, we are happy to be here for you and help you avoid or get out of back pain for the holiday season.